Siddharthji, children are not allowed here. They have either someone has to take care of them. They have children care this thing, but I don't know if they are below 5, then one of you have to take care of them. Thank you. Okay. Welcome you all. Let's begin our get-together session rather than orientation, because some people have been coming here and they know the place, what we do, what are the classes. So we'll begin our session with a prayer to Lord Ganesha, Guru and Devi. These are all known prayers. If you know them, please join me. If you don't know them, please listen to them. Okay. Om Ganana Antva Ganapatigam Havamaghe Kavin Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shranvannutibhisida Sadhanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Samstita Namastasai 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 Namo Namaha. Thank you all. So the toy that all of us we carry, cell phone has to be turned off totally in the classroom. Thank you. So we have about 80 people who have registered for this camp, and I'm sure all will be here for tomorrow morning class, probably. Okay. Please raise your hands who are here for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so rest of them they're okay. It's very good. I thought that I thought other way around, means I should correct myself here. Okay, no problem. Okay, so let's try to see what you are in for this retreat, what you are going to offer here tonight, tomorrow morning whole day, and Sunday till lunchtime. This is our program, and one of the shortest retreats. That we used to start early, but nothing worked out, and Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday lunchtime. Okay. Do you have this handout or electronically, whatever you have access to it? Flip the page and see the first. It is either you can call it as Easter retreat, or you can call spring retreat, doesn't matter. We have a, what do you call, a spirit of spring. So Easter, nothing wrong with using that word. So tonight is, we are here to know class schedule till Sunday lunchtime. And what are the programs, correct? You have been reading Vedanta books, etc. So when you go outside, few things they use common. Thank you, appreciate, you are kind. But in this hall, we use Advaita, awareness, Atma, Jagat Karanam, Ishvara, so on and so forth. But other words are also used, but these words you come across very often. Guru, Parampara, Master. Master I am using, they may not use it. Brahma, nama, rupa, etc. When you study the text, you will come to know. Okay. So Swamiji will come at 8:15 and he will begin Satsang. Satsang means informal question answer session. You have any questions about the Vedanta you are studying on your own or attending particular teachers, or you have your own doubts, if at all you have, keep them ready. Mic will be given to interested people who would like to ask question. So make it your question brief and meaningful so that Swamiji can answer your questions. Or if you want to write, I think, where did it? So it has disappeared. So we have a card index here. You can write your question legible and Swamiji will answer if you have. Okay. So that's tonight. So whatever time it takes, probably it should end latest by 9:15. If there are more questions, perhaps Swamiji would take them up tomorrow evening satsang. A few questions he will try to answer in this session. Okay. Tomorrow, day begins with Laghu Ganapati Homa. Homa means fire ritual, invoking the Lord in the form of Agni. Agni Devata, not Agni, Agni as the Devata. So Ganapati, all of you know, is an obstacle remover and blesses all of us with knowledge. So and also we do this for sake of welfare of society. So not particular name is taken there. It's all Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everybody be happy and be healthy. That's the whole purpose behind this Homa. When you do it Homa on everyday basis, there are some important components are necessary to repeat. So it takes only 10 minutes. So if you have come here with a purpose, then I would suggest you to get up tomorrow morning at 3 o'clock or whatever it takes and come to the Homa building. Homa building is situated opposite temple. You will not miss that building. It's a different structure altogether. So you can go there and attend at 5:15. Our priest is very prompt. He may start at 5:14. So be there at 5:13. That's my suggestion. Okay, then it will take 10 minutes. Then 5:30 we should be done with that. Then we'll get ready for morning Abhisheka to Lord Dakshinamurti at 5:40 a.m. Abhisheka means offering a bath, ceremonial thing to Lord Dakshinamurti, who is Lord form of Shiva. So we chant Shri Rudram. There are 11 chapter hymn dedicated to Lord Shiva, as he is the cause and he is the causation, he is the Karana and he is the Karyam. And both are inseparable with different words. And it requires a little bit of training how to chant those mantras. They are called Saswara Veda mantra. They are with swaras. You go up and down and middle, etc. So if you are familiar with those mantras, if you have learned them, then please join us. But if you have not learned it, we'll have a chance tomorrow afternoon in the chanting class. We'll try to explain to you importance of knowing the swaras when you chant the Vedic mantras. So we'll chant Rudram and all other small hymns, and we'll try to conclude the puja at 6:45. So that 15 minutes gap will be there. Then you can come here and be seated 5 minutes before. For next one is the guided meditation at 7 o'clock. And Swami Muktatmananda will be conducting this. He'll guide you step by step. What are things involved in meditation to begin with yourself and around you, what you have to address. All instructions will be given to you. So that's at 7 o'clock here, and 7 to 7:30, that's the class. That's the meditation class. Then we'll go over the Aparoksha Anubhuti, is the text composed or written by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. It's loaded text, but Swamiji will make it easy for all of you to understand. So you have to give some time to us. Suppose you hear something that you are not able to follow, don't wind up the camp and go away. Try to attend second class, third class. You will get it at some point of time. What plays important role here is your tremendous patience and your interest and commitment. So I'm sure all of you have come with the purpose, even though the first class you feel a little bit harder or terse, but you say that, okay, let me attend the second class. So like that you make a sankalpa and teaching will definitely help you. So that is the Aparoksha Anubhuti 1, and Swamiji will take second class at 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Swamiji may take little bit minutes extra if he is needed. Suppose class is at 9:30 to 10:30, he would go up to 10:45. So when 9:30 happens, don't start looking at your watch. 9:30, why Swamiji is still going? So because you have to finish certain portions, so he will plan it in such a way that it will be tailored for the 1 hour, but if it goes maybe 10 minutes extra here and there, so be prepared for that. Same thing in the evening, 4:30 to 5:30, and evening 7:30 to 8:30 satsang. This is our class schedule. Then that is on Saturday. On Sunday we have only half day schedule, okay? Morning meditation, and Swamiji will take 2 classes, 9:30 to 10:30, and next class will be instead of 11:30, 11:15, and it will conclude at 12:30 p.m. with temple and Kurudakshina, whatever you want to offer it to Swamiji. That's the end of the camp. In between, we also would like to offer you or teach you the allied sciences like chanting and bhajans. So we have with us Mrs. Chitra Rajan, who is taking care of audio and video. Chitra, are you there? Yes, she's there. So she will be teaching you some bhajan and Sri Ramachandra Kripalo bhajan, correct? That's the one. So that handout she will give it to you tomorrow. That will be between 11:15 and 12. So you have 1 hour class and you have few minutes between 2 classes. Then afternoon we'll meet for Vedic chanting between 3:15 and 4. Then you have some time to go for the evening class. So these are the class schedule. And daily schedule I already mentioned, Ganapati Homa, then 5:15, then morning Arati, then evening Arati is at 5:45 p.m. And after that we have 5-10 minutes puja and Dayalayam. If you want to come there, you can come. Then afternoon Arati is there at 12:15, and you see how it goes. Otherwise we'll try to live stream it here, and without going there you can also have darshan of Lord Dakshinamurti. And evening 5:45 to 6:15 is Arati and Dayalayam puja. This is what it is. And morning tea and coffee will be available in the old dining hall, because this will be locked till 7 o'clock. And breakfast will be served soon after meditation. Though we have mentioned 7:30, but don't go by that, because you'll be saying, hey, still meditation is 7:35 and what is happening, so don't worry. So you see, after the meditation class, breakfast will be served. Okay. Then the lunch at 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. And afternoon tea, coffee will be there, 3 to 4 p.m. So people who are attending my class, they can have tea before 3 o'clock, and after the class also you can have tea if you have missed something. Then evening dinner will be served between 6:15 I mentioned, but it will be 6:30 to 7:15. So this is the schedule. And parents who have come with the children, they have a separate program for them, so please do encourage them to go to the children classes. 2 age groups, one is 6 to 11 and 11 and above. 2 groups are there, and we have 3-4 teachers. Thank you. And they will take different classes like chanting, yoga, and values. So we have 3 teachers. One is Lance and Mrs. Usha Chandrasekhar and Smita Patel. So these are 3 teachers. Okay, so some material is here given, and so these are a few things I wanted to share with all of you. And Pujya Swami Dayananda ji, I'm sure all of you know him, established this ashram, Gurukulam, 36 years ago. And with the help of all our Mahatmas and teachers and board members, we have been offering this Vedanta teaching, Sanskritam, yoga to all of you. I'm sure those who have even a little bit of this background will definitely enjoy staying here, attending classes, and try to imbibe as much as you can. Thank you all, and feel free to contact one of us in the office or anywhere if you need any additional help to make your stay comfortable and happy. Thank you. Good night. And some booklets are here. If you are not collected while registering, please have them. Now over to Swamiji for evening satsang. And by mistake, if you have worn shoes, I request you to go outside and leave them. Okay, thank you.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Bande Guru Paramparam. Om. So for today's satsang, we have decided a small topic which has a basis also in Aparokshanubhuti, because we'll be seeing the verses from 24 onwards. In fact, first 11 verses talks about the qualification for knowledge. So then, if I start qualification in the regular classes, so from tomorrow, then the whole camp will go in these 11 verses. So what I decided is, we should discuss with a little different perspective. Generally, the sadhan chatushtaya sampatti comes and then we feel vairagya for the sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. But actually, when I analyzed, I found that it is useful. I will tell you which particular discipline is useful in a worldly pursuit, which particular discipline is useful more in a spiritual pursuit. But sadhan chatushtaya sampatti basically is useful for both the pursuits. So I am giving a small title now. How to make mind healthy. How to make mind stress-free. Same thing I am going to talk. But with the talk, if I give a different name, you will have some inquisitiveness. Of course, we will add few things in that. Or how to acquire a mental health. We are conscious of our physical health, etc. In fact, Shastra talks about what to do for both the types of health. And more, I think we should pay attention to the mental health in as much as, because a lot of diseases in the body are psychosomatic. A lot of diseases, including increase of blood sugar and blood pressure and cholesterol and whatnot. Many diseases. Well, some of the diseases may have some genetic history, but many diseases are based on mental illness. And therefore, this sadhan chatushtaya sampatti should be looked from, independently, not as a prerequisite for Atma Jnanam. Okay. So what is the first one? You know very well. This discrimination, called viveka. Very important for both the pursuits, worldly and spiritual pursuit. Because it talks about goals of a human being. One loves one's goal. One is quite attached emotionally to one's own goal, right? That's how we want to acquire. What we want to acquire, definitely we love. And since there's an emotional attachment to our own goals, we are dependent. We lean upon those goals. Could be a wealth or could be anything else, name, fame, position, anything. And when we emotionally become dependent on a particular thing, which itself is not reliable, then in that case, we get shattered, emotionally shattered. We spend number of years in acquiring all these material goals, worldly goals. And when we get it, anything, name, fame, position, etc., after we get it, we lose the charm also. Or we may not be satisfied with that. So there is a void, vacuum in our life. Even after acquiring all this, that shows a selection of a goal should be in such a manner that once I select, and then I acquire it, and once I gain it, I should have a total satisfaction. Then I can maintain my mental health. So this is the first one, discrimination, called Purushartha Viveka by Pujya Swamiji, and it's very true, is useful. This kind of a capacity of discriminating the goals which I set for myself is very essential, either worldly pursuit or spiritual pursuit. Then Swamiji, you are going to say that between these two, I am going to select, or you are going to select, or you advise us to select. moksha. And we don't want to listen. No, that's not true. If you are living a life, you need all these material goals. Moksha is not going to fulfill your life. I mean, in terms of living, I mean. When you relate to the world, all these goals are required. Wealth is not required, it is required. A certain position in a society really is very good. Even from the noble standpoint, where if you are in a certain position, you can help others. Definitely you can help. Within the boundaries of dharma. Your name can help you to influence other person for a better purpose, where a person can get some help. All goals are very good. But here the discrimination means you don't lose the mental focus of this goal, which is the goal of all the goals, or all the goals are accommodated in this goal. We'll see that tomorrow, but this is the first thing, discrimination between various goals, which will definitely keep you sane emotionally. Because all the worldly goals, unfortunately, should not be leaned upon, because they are transient. If they are transient and you take a support, like a person who is not able to stand on his own feet, very weak, takes a support of a crutches or a stick, etc. And if he loses the balance, well, suppose a stick falls, well, definitely he also falls. So this is the position. So even if we have a worldly goals, but that should not be the ultimate goal. So that our emotional dependence should not be there on these goals, material goals. For living it is good, but for really acquiring in our life is this moksha. So to discern between these two, because that is the goal, basically, which is called Brahman. I don't want to say all this, but I should say, in as much as the difference between these two goals is very simple. One is within the boundary of time and space. One is within the carpet, one which is on the carpet of time and space. What is on the carpet of time and space? Like a person is on the carpet. If you remove the carpet, person also is gone from that position at least. Same way, all these goals, worldly goals, are within the boundaries of time and space. And therefore they are impermanent. If they are impermanent, let it be impermanent. Why do you bother, Swami? Why? What's your concern in that? Your heart is seeking permanent. This sentence you keep right now. This is not for evening. We'll see in the morning. Your heart is seeking something permanent. You want a goal which is permanent. Either in terms of peace, either in terms of happiness, either in terms of security. You want it once for all. So if you are seeking something permanent, and you basically lean upon all these material goals which are transient, impermanent, there are chances of falling. And we fall. So we lose our sanity, our mental sanity. So at least this is a first step to regain mental health, to keep the mental health, to keep the mind healthy, etc. Well, this is discrimination. The first, useful for both actually, worldly and material and spiritual goal. Second is, dispassion. You should lose passion for worldly goals, and you should have passion for spiritual goal. That's called dispassion, right? Lose passion. When I do not do this kind of discrimination, definitely I have a passion for only worldly goals. Now I know that really my heart is seeking something which is permanent. And therefore, well, let me set as my goal. These are all temporary goals which are required for living, definitely. But I will not lean upon them as a goal of my life. So that's called dispassion. What is unreliable, what is not permanent, well, I will not lean upon them emotionally. Then I can maintain my mental health. So this is second. Third is a mental discipline, shamaha. Important for both the pursuits. In fact, this is the discipline where I want to spend some time. See, what happens is mind generates we can call it as a thought discipline, this shamaha. So mind generates thoughts. Mind being conscious, it has a only function to generate thoughts. That's the job of the mind. And these thoughts are broadly divided into two. One is a voluntary thoughts. Second is involuntary. Voluntary thoughts means which I have entertained willfully while I have generated. These are the voluntary thoughts. Like you are planning on coming over here, spending time, how will I spend time, etc., etc. So you generate, you initiate that thinking. That's a voluntary thinking. And the second type of thoughts, well, they are involuntary. These thoughts basically are generated, who are not deliberately generated. I don't engage the mind deliberately. Still thoughts are generated without my will, etc., without my concern, etc., without I being aware of it. Continuously thoughts are there. And because mind cannot keep quiet, so such thoughts are involuntary thoughts. Like, breathing also of two types. Voluntary breathing, well, definitely that is we call pranayama. Where, so Purak, Rechak and Kumbhak, etc. Purak, Kumbhak and Rechak, etc. Where you inhale for certain moments and then hold for certain moments and then release, etc. This is all voluntary. And the second one is involuntary, which you are doing right now. You are listening to me, and definitely you are alive. And therefore, so breathing is going on. Breathing is going on. But you are not aware of it. It's involuntary. Same way, mind also has both the types of thoughts, voluntary and involuntary. And this mental discipline, shamaha, is the capacity to handle involuntary thoughts. That's it. In simple language, we say making the mind from preoccupational state, preoccupied state. That's the issue with everyone. So whatever we want to do, we want to attend a class, we want to read a book, or we want to do a puja or japa, etc. What bothers is this involuntary thought. Without my consent, well, mind roams. So capacity to handle, capacity to process involuntary thoughts is called shamaha, very important. So I can vacate involuntary thoughts from the mind and use the mind for voluntary thoughts, deliberate thoughts. Otherwise, mind, basically remains preoccupied. Anyway, so shamaha means mental discipline. What is the technique? You are going to ask me, I know. And that also I am going to discuss today. And also tomorrow morning meditation. Meditation is only technique. And how the meditation can help to process involuntary thoughts, that I will explain you shortly. So anyway, this is a mental discipline. Well, the advantage is definitely mind is available to you. And the mind should be allowed for involuntary thoughts, and it will generate involuntary thoughts which you are not aware of, and let it be like that. But when you want its work, it should be available. That's it. That is called mental discipline. Whenever you want a help of a mind, and naturally in all the goals, worldly or our spiritual goals, you require mind. Very efficient mind, which becomes helpful to you in your pursuit, in thinking, etc., in planning, everything. So anyway, so this is first thing. The second thing is this involuntary thoughts. Why we want to process it, why we want to take care of it, is because this involuntary thoughts invariably leads to emotional disturbance. Other Puja Swami used to call these involuntary thoughts as a mechanical thinking. Mechanical thinking, mind goes to the mechanical thinking, means mind as though become machine. Machine has everything involuntary, right? Machine voluntary does not decide. Certain revolution per minute a motor has. If you fix it that way, it will remain. It won't decide after 1 hour that let me have a coffee and then I will, nothing of that sort. No deliberation. So mind basically is a conscious entity. There should be a deliberation in thinking, etc. In thoughts, voluntary thoughts should be there. Instead, it goes to the machine mode. Well, then it's definitely we are losing its efficiency also. And invariably, this mechanical thinking or involuntary thoughts lead to emotional disturbance. It leads to emotional disturbance, all kinds of emotional disturbance. Therefore, well, suppose I can take one example. And nowadays, in jobs there are so many layoffs and so. And suppose I have got a layoff. Suppose. Then definitely I want to think now the next plan. Or I have to pay certain installments, etc., for home loans or certain medical insurance. I have to think. So, well, I initiate the thinking. What should be done? It is a voluntary. But as you think, suddenly anxiety appears. An anxiety to fear, and then emotional panic, etc. Which I don't want, but mind has taken its ride. This is involuntary. So sometimes it automatically reacts after an involuntary thinking, or sometimes it starts with the voluntary thinking, but leads to involuntary thinking and emotional disturbance. And therefore, somebody asked this question between voluntary thoughts and involuntary thoughts. Why do we want to process involuntary thoughts? Why not voluntary thoughts? Voluntary thoughts are essential because you want to take help of the mind for to plan, etc. You need to think. When you need to think, so you initiate thinking. That's voluntary. But involuntary thinking, that is one thing. But the second thing, involuntary thinking leads to reactions. Voluntary thinking leads to actions. That's a big difference between them. Being deliberate. Anyway, and then this emotional disturbance definitely affects mental health, physical health also. Therefore, this particular one, shamaha, is very essential. The people who are really do not have, suppose, a spiritual goal, moksha, etc. They have certain worldly goals. Still, he also should have this capacity to shed off involuntary thinking and takes to voluntary thinking whenever he wants. Rest of the time, let the mind move around. That's not a problem. And Shastra's warning is to be aware of this involuntary thought and learn to replace them with healthy voluntary thoughts. To gain that capacity, the technique is mantra meditation, japa is a thing. And it is simple. How it helps? Because here in mantra meditation, you give a mind a certain occupation of chanting a mantra. When you give an occupation to the mind in terms of chanting a mantra, it automatically becomes free from preoccupation. That's a criteria. Of course, it will again goes back to the involuntary thinking, mechanical thinking. But since I have given a job to the mind of chanting that mantra mentally, meditation, well, then you will bring it back. Mind will go, you will bring it back. Mind will go, you will bring it back. And especially between two chants, there is a gap. In that gap, mind moves around. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, what about this Shivarama? That's. Oh, he lost the job. Where is he now? I have to find it out. A few days ago, he sent me a WhatsApp. That's how Pujya Swami used to tell in mantra meditation, you should be aware of the gap between two chants. If you are aware of the gap, mind will not go. The moment you become conscious of your mind, mind will not move. This is everyone's experience. So especially during chant, of course, you are with the particular thought, but between two chants, there is a gap that you should be conscious of. When you are conscious of, well, definitely mind will remain. Then you will chant mentally. That will be a thought naturally, Om Namah Shivaya, etc. So this is how, well, after some time, well, mind will definitely goes into the mode of voluntary thinking. Because this occupation we have given, that mental occupation, whatever occupation we give to the mind, well, it will remain in that. Yato yato nischarati tatastato niyamye tat atmani eva vasannayet. Bhagavan also has told, yato yato nischarati. Well, it will move away. Definitely. Mind will move away from your occupation. What you have given to the mind, it will go to the preoccupied state, involuntary thinking. But definitely, tatastato niyamye tat. Well, from there you bring it back. And this is auto-suggestion also can be given to the mind that, well, oh mind, whenever you move out from the occupation which I have given you, I will bring it back to you. I will bring you back. So this is, well, if you give this auto-suggestion, when the mind moves away, well, there will be alarm. Yeah, it has gone. It has gone. Auto-suggestion works very well. So this is a technique. The only technique which I know, and as Pujya Swami describes also, this mantra meditation is the technique for gaining a capacity of voluntary thinking or processing, let us say, involuntary thinking, getting rid of. So this is regarding Shamaha, very helpful. Then the fourth one is a sensory discipline. We generally call it as a Damaha. And we have these 5 sense organs, and they sense this external world, which is divided into 5 segments. And each segment is sensed by a sense organ. That is how it's called sense organ. It senses colors and forms and smells and etc. etc. And these 5 segments are what? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. You know very well all this. Sound and touch and color and form, taste, etc. And such a world of these 5 segments enter into our mind through these 5-fold gateways. So sensory discipline means what? Learning to restrain the sense organs at will. Why it is required? Let the objects enter into the mind through the gateways. Let us have a free passage. No. Why? Well, definitely the purpose of restraining is to avoid involuntary thoughts, which we don't want now. And therefore, between sensory discipline and mental discipline, sensory discipline is easier also. It will help you to process your involuntary thinking, involuntary thoughts. So if sense organs are uncontrollably exposed, well, to the whole world, then the world can enter, and any part of the world, well, has a capacity to generate involuntary thoughts. I'll give you an example. Like you are listening my words, and you have kept open your ears. Like that way you have kept open your ears when you are talking to others and everywhere, and varieties of the people are talking to you, and the words are entering, sounds are entering, going into the mind, little processing, and goes away because the other sound is coming. But sometime it happens that somebody spoke to you very rudely, and it has also entered along with others. And most of the words which have entered, they leave. But now this word will not leave. It stays back. Stays back also, no problem. But it generates this reaction, which is called involuntary thinking, which I told you before. And therefore, there should be some restraint for the sense objects before they enter the mind through the sense organs. And generally they say that whatever the usage of the sense object is there, the particular sense organ should contact it also. Once the contact is over and the work is done, then you should withdraw. Sense organ should be withdrawn and kept in the respective places. This is how they defined in this Damaha in Vivek Chudamani. So they keep in a respective Golakas, houses, keep them back. Second thing, if you allow constantly a sense organ to dwell on the sense object, it will form an addiction automatically. So that's how there is a Sanskrit saying which says, Prakshalanathi pankasya durat asparshanam varam. So Prakshalanathi pankasya, you enter into the mud and then you come out and wash your feet, etc., wash your clothes, etc., which are spoiled. Instead, better be away from that kind of thing. So if you allow your sense organs to dwell upon sense objects constantly, they form slowly addiction. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate, etc. And Bhagavan has said in second chapter very beautifully, dhyayataha, constantly dwelling upon, etc. So that is how sensory discipline is very useful if you want to process or vacate your involuntary thinking easily. So Damaha is a better discipline compared to the Shamaha. Okay. Then the third or fourth, whatever, third I think, yeah. So the third one is a Uparamaha. It's a wonderful thing. It says discharging one's own obligations. If you want to remain in harmony, if you want your mind in harmony, which is nothing but its health. Wherever there is harmony, there is health. Wherever there is a disharmony, there is illness. So if you want your mind to be in harmony with others, with yourself, do this. And that is discharging one's own duties, obligations. What are they? Well, these are 5 obligations. Obligations means you are already taking help of the 5 sectors of the world. And therefore you have an obligation toward each sector. And in fact, the Ishvara who has manifested in the form of Jagat, we divide into 5. And so you are basically doing an obligation as an offering or reverential service, let us say. Reverential service, because it is ultimately Ishvara. So anything you look upon a particular sector, particular thing in the creation, like Devatas, or then there are Pitrus and there are Shastra and everything. You look upon them as a manifestation of Lord. And then you basically, each one has helped you a lot. They are helping you now. They are they are going to help you in future also. And therefore better you start now, offering to them. So that is, they call it as a yajna, reverential service. Reverential service is called yajna. And this is to be done on a daily basis because you are taking help of them on a daily basis, continuously, not on a just daily basis, means during a day or during a night. No. Continuously. What are those things? I think you must be knowing it also, but few people may not be knowing. For their sake, let's discuss. The first thing is called Pitru Yajna, reverential service towards family, spending time with the family, spending time with the spouse, spending time with the children, helping them contribute. Your contribution should be there, of course, and parents, etc. And then siblings, maybe. This is called family. Pitru Yajna means a reverential service to the family. And, in that, a lot of things can be said, but we don't have time. Second thing is Brahma Yajna. Shastra, we call Brahma Yajna, or Veda Yajna sometimes they call. Because Vedas were definitely, they're ingenious. This is the uniqueness of our religion, Hindu religion, Sanatan religion. We are not fanatic. Because Vedas basically is a body of knowledge. Vid dhatu means to know. So Veda means a body of knowledge which gives you, first they teach you what are the goals of a human being. We feel there are infinite goals. As many human beings are there, more than that goals are there. No. Goals are only of 4 types. That is being taught by Veda. That's okay. Shastra talks about ends or goals. So what? Do they talk about means? Yeah. They talk about means also, to acquire those goals. So basically Veda is a body of knowledge which gives you the knowledge of means and end. And that too, it includes the ultimate goal of the human life, which we'll discuss tomorrow. That is called moksha. Moksha is nothing to worry about. Moksha. It's a simple thing. Freedom. Moksha means freedom. Freedom from all evils is called moksha. We'll see tomorrow. Freedom from fear. Fear is evil. Freedom from anxiety. Anxiety is evil. Freedom from sense of limitation. It's evil. It haunts. A sense of limitation haunts the person all the time. He can't sit. She can't sit. Any sense of limitation centered on I will not allow you to sit. If you cannot get rid of that sense of limitation, well, it will manifest in other forms in mind, in form of jealousy, in form what not. All evils, freedom from all of them is moksha. And therefore it's a very lucrative. So Shastra talks about moksha and also shows the means how to acquire. Shastra talks about, Veda talks about the means of security for the person and also talks about the means of acquiring. Shastra also talks about the different sources of joy and means to acquire. All this. So it's a complete package, Shastra. So, and well, that is there in this our culture, and therefore we have a duty towards these Vedas also, the Rishis, etc. And therefore, this is a reverential attitude for the Veda, at least in terms of study, or where the study is going on to help, like certain Vedic schools, that Vedic Pathshala, etc. That kind of a thing. So this is a contribution in terms of our reverential service for the Veda Shastra. Third is a Manushya Yajna. So what is that? There is a very, very well-known term in industry, CSR or something. Corporate, what is that? Corporate social responsibility. Is this Manushya Yajna? Yeah, that is Manushya Yajna. Really. We have a social responsibility in a society, human society. We are supposed to help to other human beings. We do take help of all other human beings In fact, what we are, what I have read also has been discovered, and a lot of things, I may not dilute it. So, there's a third, Manushya Yajna. Fourth is a reverential service to the plant and animal kingdom, other than the human being. At least not spoiling, not hurting them, not killing them, that much. And fifth is a Deva Yajna, reverential service to 5 elements. Constantly working for us, constantly. Earth, in terms of food, air, water, fire. Our renewable energy also is fire. It's a renewable energy. Now there's a lot of things are going on, renewable energy. Energy itself, we consider it as a manifestation of this Agni Tattva. So we should do something constantly. For a moment also, if air does not, oxygen, etc. So, now you can understand, discharging one's own obligations brings you to the harmony with the creation. Because you are taking from the creation, you are obliged to give it back. That brings that brings the harmony between you and the world, and between you and yourself. Yeah. Because I love harmony. And when I go against that, definitely I go against myself. So one who definitely discovers this harmony through this fulfilling the obligations will have a better mental health. I'm connecting. So anyway, so this is the third one. The fourth one is Titiksha. Titiksha means what? It's an emotional immunity. Shastra talks about 2 types of immunity. One is an physical immunity, which we call external immunity. And the second one is a internal, emotional immunity. So as such, Titiksha we translate as a tolerance, but here emotional immunity or strength, you can say. Mental strength, emotional strength, by which mind can avoid all emotional disturbances caused by whom? Caused by the external world, caused by the people, caused by the behavior of the people. So that is a emotional immunity. Like that, there are few more things which can help for mental health. And therefore, this sadhan chatushtayam is just not for the sake of Atma Jnanam. Swamiji, we don't want Atma Jnanam and your moksha also. Therefore, we don't want that. No. If you have a worldly goals and you are seeking your mind to be free from stress, anxiety and everything, you are seeking definitely a mental health, you have worldly goals, still these are very, very essential things. Therefore, I just took a few minutes of you to discuss that. And then that's enough. Sometime we'll discuss further. I think only few are left. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So we have 2 meditations, and that I feel that tomorrow we'll do this mantra meditation, and day after tomorrow we'll do Nididhyasana, because tomorrow I will have to talk about this Atma and all that, and therefore day after tomorrow we will, don't worry, this is very simple. Reaching to Atma is very simple, nothing to worry about. So Aparokshanubhuti as such I'm not going to touch tomorrow, yes, because before that, before the verse 24, 25 and all that, well, we have to first know who am I properly. And so tomorrow we'll spend time on that, both the classes. And then day after tomorrow 2 classes we'll touch, we have to do 5 verses. I think we will be able to do that also, day after tomorrow. So there's a program I am giving you. Meditation tomorrow, mantra meditation we'll do. Day after tomorrow we'll do that. Nididhyasana. Namaste, namaste. Very happy she was there in the class. Whole month she was there. Amazing.
I only listen every now and then.
I know you have to go to the office.
Very nice.
Very nice. I was so happy when she said I'm coming.
Following Bhashya now.
Of course, I took grammar, but little bit, not much.
Yeah, but that's
Still,
I'm
She knows also grammar very well.
little bit learning. But it was really nice.